Wodonga Bulldogs, so she's going to steer the ship down at Wang. Leah Mathy has taken over at Wodonga from Bianca Mann, and Yarrawonga have rolled the dice. Laura Davis and Laura Ryan are this year's coaches. They seem to share around beautifully down there.
You say that they're the new coaches there, but I feel that's odd because I feel like they've been the coaches, but every time there's a new coach there, it's someone that we just assume is part of the furniture.
Yeah, so Laura Davis certainly has. Laura Ryan, I don't think she's coached there yet, but obviously she will this year, and they'll be great. I mean, Laura Davis is just the most positive person. She's phenomenal to be around. And I guess the other talking point has been a few of the new recruits to the league. So Maddie Martin and Daisy O'Kane signed up at Myrtleford, both Geelong Cougars. I think Maddie Martin's now Western Warriors, and Daisy O'Kane plays championships in the VNL with the Geelong Cougars. So she will be one to watch for sure.
And I'm excited to see the level of professionalism.
Yes.
You know, the high performance that they bring up here to the league as well. Transferring it over to Ashbelt.
And that's the thing, an outdoor game, it's going to be so different for them as well. The big one, of course, is Kimmy Borja with the Wang Rovers out of Melbourne Vixens, also playing for Shep Bears. And coaching Western Warriors down in the VNL as well. So she's got a busy schedule. So I don't know how many games they'll get out of it, but apparently taking the court tonight.
Oh, that'd be amazing. And just so experienced, even from back in her Super League days over in England as well, and back in the Sydney Premier League, or State League at the time. I think she's been playing so experienced. She's just going to be wonderful to watch. And I know that I'll be going down to watch if we've got games off in those weeks as well. Yeah, absolutely. And I know they've got a lot of young up-and-coming superstars at Rovers. So I think to have someone like her, they'll be fantastic for them. And then the other noticeable recruit is Sally Hunter. Chikorowa previously coached Osborne to 2 premierships. She was a Hume League Interleague coach and a head coach with the Riverina Region Netball. So I'm sure she'll bring a huge amount of support and experience to that Chikorowa side with Soph. Yep, a lot of credentials, and I was lucky enough to be able to watch her and Sophie work together for a couple of the pre-season games down at JC King, and I think that they're really going to be very complementary to each other, very experienced, great asset to the league.
For many years our competition was dominated by really probably just a few clubs, but I think last year we saw the emergence and development of teams like Raiders, Myrtleford and North Albury, who have been missing from finals for quite some time. I think this year is going to be a super tight comp. Probably 7 or 8 teams who are going to fight for those top 5 spots. Who do you think are the biggest threats this year?
Well, I'd like to think that we're going to be one of the ones, that Albury Tigers fighting for a top 5 spot. I know that we've put in a lot of pre-season, but you know, we can only control what we control, because you look at the other clubs as well, and yeah, you're right, there are 7 or 8 sides. Look, you can't go past obviously the stalwarts in, you know, Wag Magpies and Yarrawonga. I think they're an easy bet to be up there, but absolutely Myrtleford. You can't go without talking about them. I guess my dark horse for finals is probably North Albury. I've been lucky enough to watch them being training in pre-season, and I'm really excited for Em Brown and what she's building over there, especially with some of her young ones. Great intensity. But I think obviously this Raiders outfit, it's hard to go past them. They're extremely skilled, highly athletic, and they really have great timing with each other.
Yeah, and that's from years of playing together. So we'll have a look at the team cards for today. Wodonga Raiders, coached by Jodie House, obviously a very experienced coach. And their lineup: Taylor Donnellan in goal shooter, Emily Stewart goal attack, Blaney House wing attack, Maggie St John centre, Molly Goldsworthy wing defence, Mackenzie House goal defence, Eliza Mooney up into goalkeeper, and on the bench Shayla House, Ava Kazitsky and Georgia Way. So a really familiar side, been able to keep their whole team together. Mia Lavis, a noticeable absentee today due to her national commitments. For the Lavington Panthers, coach Linda Charlton was going to step away. They look like securing Beck O'Connell, but there was a late change there, so Linda back in charge. And her side today looking rather different from the grand final day. We have Erin Harbright in GS, Monica Domovsky will play goal attack, Maddie Lloyd lining up in wing attack, Angela DeManuel centre, a new player in Maddie Irvine in wing defence, Taylor Ferber goal defence, Audrey Adams keeper, with interchange of Kate Mastronardi, Tamir Richardson and Olivia Sanson. So a familiar Raider side, but a very new looking Lavington side.
Absolutely. It feels like, yes, I mean, we've both got some experience with Lavie ourselves because they both look familiar too. But it's still going to be a great contest, because even though with the promotion of some of these players who have come through the Lavie club from their B grade, filtering through, such as Erin and Monica, We know that they train together, they train really well, and just because this might be their first full season back up in A grade, it doesn't mean that they're unfamiliar with these people around them, and
That's
so
right.
they've got great timing and great chemistry with these others.
That's right. And I mean, Erin Harbright, she's been at the club for a long, long time. Went out to Howlong for a year or two, but has been back for the last year or so. And she's played A grade before, it won't be new territory for her. But I'm excited to see what Taylor Ferber brings this season. I think a full season as the standalone goal defence. I think we saw what she did in the back half of last year. She was outstanding, and I think as important to that side as anyone. And I can't wait to see what she does.
I've just really loved watching the way that Taylor's her problem-solving game has really matured as she's gotten older, moving from the front half, the attacking end of the court, down to the defensive end now. And she really loves reading play and just seeing her grow up. Like I really, as a player, I do have a bit of a soft spot for watching Tay play. I think she reads the play really well, and you can't beat her speed.
No,
her speed is incredible.
Oh, and those arms, and great to see her dad Dean back involved in coaching the C grade. Dean and the team, so that's great. But I think you talk about players of club. I mean, Maddie Lloyd, Angela Manuel, they're really familiar. They've been in that side for a long time now, so they'll be really looking to those two to steady the ship and control that court as these new players, I guess, find their feet.
Yeah, and look, I think that's probably one of the mainstays, one of the most important features of Maddie Lloyd's game is her composure and the control of the ship. Exactly. We know that she can dial up intensity and change speed and take off like a rocket, but she also knows when to, compose herself, and she has that impact on the rest of the people around her where they all become composed because of her leadership and they trust her.
Yeah, and we saw that last year. I think initially when Christine first was at Lavington, there was, as there would as a wing attack, that my eyes would light up with someone that tall in the goal circle, and you want to go there. But I think what we saw was them become really smart in how they worked the ball to circle edge before Christine was in the best position, and they'll need to do that. Erin Harbright's nice and tall, but she's not going to offer the height that a Christine does, so they're really going to have to go back and use those skills that they worked really hard on last year. Great to see a couple of young players. So Tamir Richardson, she's come in from CDHBU, beautiful young player, so hopefully she gets her opportunity, which is great to see. And obviously Liv Sanson on the bench. Now she's moved away for uni to Wollongong, but being Easter is home, and I think they're hoping to get a few games out of her when she's around.
Oh look, what a treat. I know I'd be doing that if I had a Sanson coming through. Olivia's just worked her way into this squad where she can. She's so familiar with everybody throughout the entire squad. She'd probably get a Guernsey running over in first in the footy if she was available, because she fits in that well, and she just takes coach's direction, and she's very task oriented. So love watching Liv play. She just enjoys everything about sport, and that's why she's such a delight to be around and to watch.
Yeah, she does. You'd have a team full of her, wouldn't you? Yep. So players are getting ready to take the court. Great to see Liz Mooney stepping on the court for Raiders. We saw her at the back end of the season and across finals, and I just think she's so incredibly underrated. Obviously, Mia Lavis gets a lot of talk time, and rightly so, but Liz, she can swing both ends,
and
which is such a blessing.
The credit you give to Eliza is the fact that they've got the luxury of being able to pull somebody like Molly Goldsworthy out of the circle, because they've got somebody of her calibre in there, and be able to play Molly's brains out at that pocket, out at the wing. I think that speaks volumes for the faith that they've now got in Eliza, and rightly so. Yeah,
absolutely. Be a nice problem to have, wouldn't it? And knowing that, as I said, Mia Lavis on the sidelines today, she's been very busy playing VNL down at North East Blaze, and for the last 3 weeks has had some time in Champs, which is amazing, as well as 23. So she's had a big workload. Nationals coming up in a couple of weeks, so I think it's about managing her workload. As we start the game, Raiders the first centre, Maggie St John, to take it. And Molly Goldsworthy already being a great assistance off the line there.
And that's Raiders surprising, just watching the ball travel through that centre corridor.
And we'll see this patience. Raiders worked really hard on that last year, working to position before Taylor or Emily opened up. And Donnellan, the Raiders on the board with the first goal.
See Monica giving Maddie Lloyd the whole line there for the centre pass break. There's obviously a set play coming where they've made that I formation.
And why wouldn't you? Maddie's so fast off the line. She's given that space. She's going to beat most players in a one-on-one, as Domovsky scores for the Panthers. So they're on the board as well. First quarter action brought to you by Cavalier Homes.
Overload coming out to the side of the transverse line for the centre pass there with Raiders, freeing up that right-hand side corridor down the centre. And Denellen really does work that space beautifully. She's a great holder. And you can be as tall and get as much hang time as Taylor Ferber does, but if you're going to give your feeders that kind of backspace, it doesn't matter how tall you are, it is really hard to defend.
No, as Molly Goldsworthy covered Lloyd there, they looked to her, but she wasn't on. So Loving having to work it off the circle and wait till that space to open up, and Demanuel finds Lloyd eventually. So they'll have the free at the top of the circle, and Demovsky moving well, clearing and trying to open that space for Harbright. Eventually finds her under the post with a
Really
sneaky little pass
from Harbright.
Great rebound too by Erin, as she is forced to rebound again, but draws the penalty and will take the shot right under the post.
And she's obviously lost nothing in her rebound timing. It's obviously something she's worked on out of how long, because that timing was excellent. It's always been a strength.
So penalty against Irvine, the Lavington. So she's a new player to the league, so really excited to see what she brings. A-grade best and fairest winner at Leighton Winton Crows. So he's studying university, studying physio. Stewart comes out, tries to draw the defender, opens up Donnellan on the baseline. Great feed there by Blaney House, finds up Adams just a little bit late to the contest.
And again, that backspace to feed to with Taylor.
And Em Stewart's just so great at those little passes, patient and considered in what she does. Demovsky strong off the line for Lavington.
Watching both sides have used that overload. Off the centre pass and the long bomb.
Vision by Lloyd.
Maddie's always been really good at creating those angles with the bounce pass across the top sectors of the half circle.
And there's Mooney with a strong rebound, and they won't be able to afford to miss too many, because probably don't have the height quite to contest with her as Raiders look to go forward. So House and Goldsworthy, Stewart driving down. And a great ball by House finds that space in front of Donnellan.
And I think it's becoming obvious that the plan to start the game with Raiders is to get Em Stewart on the move, and she's creating a lot of one-on-one space and one-on-one contests in there for Taylor Denellen.
Yeah, and it's possibly a bit of a mismatch with Adams and Donnellan. Audrey's just up from B grade this year, which is really exciting to see. She did get some court time last year and played in the state titles Northeast Open side, which was fantastic.
And forget how young she actually is.
Yeah.
I think Audrey, she's only 18 or 19, isn't she?
Yeah,
To have come through after, I really enjoyed watching her junior play over at North. And she's a very composed player for such a young person. So I think this kind of contest will really do her the world of good.
Yeah, and there's that front space Liza Mooney was just able to work herself into. Using the whole court here, Raiders, waiting for the space to open up. House caught high, that's Blaney, but she rolls back out, and Stewart comes through that centre channel drive. And Irvine, there's some great speed, just managed to get a tip to the ball. She creates the turnover.
Manuel's stuck there with the hedge at the top. I think House was being a bit sneaky, pretending to be the wing defence there. Harbright holding some backspace.
Yeah, she thought she was going to take the long bomb.
And you know what? I thought she had that feed, but Eliza Mooney's hang time is underestimated.
So Harbright drawing the contact, just not putting it away, and there we see Raiders able to get tips to it. And it's a hot day, Elle. I can't imagine these mid-quarters will be wanting to track up and back too much. They'll be begging the shooters to make the most of their opportunities on a day like today.
But we know as athletes it was really hard talking to some of these Raiders girls when they were getting ready about just the timing. When the game's going to start, they've put so much effort. They looked great in their warm-up. They were really careful with their footwork and their knee program, and trying to gradually find that balance between being ready and achieve the balance of the game starting, but without overcooking it too early.
That's right, because round one can be frantic early, that first quarter, but look, I think both sides are settling in reasonably well now, as Donnellan holding strong in that space.
And I'm already tired and hot watching them from the safety of the shade over here.
Yeah, I'm going to put my money on there'll be some blister action later today. Raiders put another one on the board, so they've gone out to a 6-2 lead here on the 777 automotive scoreboard. We've had 5.5 minutes down on the NZ Albury clock.
I'm really liking the way that Irvine is trying to dictate that drive of her wing after the pass has gone off. She's been very consistent in just not following her and her drive. She's telling her which way she wants her to take her first few steps. really good sign of an experienced and disciplined wing defence.
Yeah. Lloyd doing a lot of work.
Good
Great
swing
bounce pass to Demamiel. Demovsky
really
just pulling it in at last minute.
Clever rotation by her.
Oh, beautiful goal by
Nice
Monica
long
Demovsky. So Lovey moved to 3, trailing Raiders 7. It's a Raiders centre pass. St John finds House off the line, and
Irvine again directing her player out to the boundary. Little screen set up there by Donnellan so that Stewart can have the rotation. And Ferbra and Adams doing their best to try and make the adjustments in enough time. A bit lucky there with the fumble to give them a little bit of space to adjust, but it resulted in the goal.
Lloyd hot off that line, working hard, and a great ball by
Mooney
Demamiel into
thought
that
about it,
space. She did, didn't she? Goldsworthy trying to stay in the contest, just getting the call against her. And I like the way Demovsky's continually coming into that front space, not trying to drop back, prepared to play that front roll and give Erin the
Absolutely.
post.
And confident enough to do it, not afraid. She's a goal attack. You want her out there directing the play, and she's doing a job.
Oh,
Well
Ferbra,
read
you're
by
not going to get it
Ferbra.
past her, far too low.
There's certainly a front space held there, but I think we underestimated the way that the double up was covering that. Not much margin for error there for the ball over here, and we can see
So
Mastronardi has had a rolling sub come on for Adams.
And this will be really exciting, I think, the rolling sub introduction this year, to see how coaches and teams use it. It's a hot day today. They'd be crazy not to be trying to roll some players on and off that court just to give them a couple of minutes spell.
Stuck out high on the transverse there, and just Lavington looking for some options on the circle, but they've worked it there with the patience. And it is a sign of the experience of Lloyd and Demamiel, where they didn't get erratic in field. They had to force it in from way too far out.
So 5 goals, plays 8 here. Lovey can score off this centre. They're back within 2 goals.
Goldsworthy doing a lot of that disruption out in defence and making life difficult. Being a bit of a pest in the way that you're supposed to as a wing defence.
Yeah, force Lloyd to go back to the line, but that great give and go gets them to circle edge, and Demovsky, I love the way she gets that ball up beautiful and high.
And I'd say we could probably count that shot as a forced error off Mooney's excellent defence on the shot there. Demovsky didn't know if she was going to go up or come in or hold her ground, but she took the rebound and it's ended in a goal.
So we've got 8, play 6 here on the 777 automotive scoreboard. 8.5 minutes gone in the first quarter here. Birrelly Park, round 1 action, first game of the season. Grand final replay, and Stewart driving
high.
really high out of that circle, but opening up the space.
We've got a wardrobe malfunction over here from Ferbra. Mastronardi just pulls a sewing kit out and the bib's gone back on.
Good to have teammates like that, isn't it?
Nobody ever trusted me with that stab.
So Stewart working hard on the move, just waiting for the option.
The core strength of Donnellan is really impressive there, because you can see a really good physical contest coming in, and I think that's Mastronardi's strength. She really knows how to hold her position.
And Taylor was involved in the Northeast Open side as well at state titles recently, only a couple of weekends ago. So for these girls that played in that, I think that was a fantastic warm-up, and she would have learned a lot from that competition. I don't know if she's played that carnival style of netball before. It was indoors, so fast, and I'm sure it'll hold her in good stead too. So John finds Stewart with a great drive through that middle channel. Out to House, prepared just to work it on, and Stewart prepared to sit out and play that extra feeding
Playing
role.
as a third feeder, yep. They're really having a lot of faith in Taylor's holding, but I think Lavington have adjusted because they're dragging Ferbra back into the circle and letting Stewart have the ball out from where she can't shoot.
And Mastronardi, she was a real surprise packet last year when she stepped up into A grade. She
From Maggie St John, she knew what crumbs to go and pick for. In the
Oh,
last of those
Mastronardi goes flying, hunting for the ball, but didn't quite come off that time as Donnellan finishes off. But that'll just create a little bit of doubt. Sometimes you have to back yourself on those.
I feel bad for Mastronardi there. That looked fun.
Do you wish you could go hunting like that out? How long since you've gone out for a ball like that?
Absolutely not. Maybe if the GPS tracker's been bugged or something and I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Subbing off. Oh,
Great
hard right.
backspace there from Harbright, but
Good
House
strength.
was all over it, and she knew she had the small feet to be able to get back there in time.
Erin just finding a little bit of difficulty in getting her range, and Raiders able to move down the court. Goldsworthy patiently sitting back, prepared to work the ball. So John uses the line to reset.
Lainey House doing a lot of work to be an option every time, but she's not getting used. And I think she's ended up just keeping Irvine dizzy, which I think you need to do because she's already looking to be a bit of a weapon.
Yes, play smarter, not harder, especially on a day like today's. House represents, finds St John close to circle edge. Oh, thought the backspace was on, but miscommunication. So Lavington with the opportunity for a throw in.
Maggie St John seems to be leading to all sorts of spaces, but then creating the possession at the top of the circle each time.
Berbera looks to go to Domofsky. She was just a bit wide and flat, so they have to work it. Lloyd, quick hands to Harbright, and she finds Domofsky on the move. Which,
great connections down that centre channel.
And that's going to be really important to keep moving onto the ball, follow through your lead. So Lavington go to 7, trailing the Raiders 12 here. We've gone 12 and a half minutes on the NZ Albury time clock.
I'm not sure that I believe one of the rolling subs used so far. Good timing by Lloyd, but she's created a diversion. Molly coming around with the hands before the feet again. Yeah, we're probably lucky there, Lloyd, because she was stationary. She won't be able to stay stationary on Goldsworthy. No. A bit early.
Oh, and that'll be a contact.
Becky on the back of Lloyd.
Not playing footy now, Mol. The Panthers.
Smart play. Good angles by Lloyd into Mosky.
She's so composed, Monica, isn't she? She doesn't look flustered.
Very calm.
Looks like she's got a lot of time as she has the ball.
It's about 33 degrees out there and she doesn't even look red.
No. I'd be melting into the
long clear by Stewart right down into that bottom pocket to keep Berbera busy.
So Mackenzie House sitting back.
Maggie St John has made her way back to that centre channel to near the top of the circle again.
Oh, nice ball to Donlan, able to pull it in, but draws the contact there. So she'll have a shot. Certainly within range. Put the mods on her. So Panthers the opportunity to turn it over here, and Taylor Ferber with that beautiful drive down court, just not able to pull that one in.
How on earth? We're playing on. Taylor was almost in the back of the ute. She's managed to pull it in. I don't think anybody else had the arms and legs for that.
No, well, they wouldn't. No.
The umpire was in the best spot to see it.
So Panthers move to 9, trailing Raiders 12. Into the last minute of this first quarter. Brought to you by Cavalier Homes, and Raiders with a late turnover. They'll need to move it quickly.
Really valuable one. Once again, long drive by Stewart. She's cut the diagonal and she knew exactly where she wanted to finish off with the mid-range shot. She was never missing that. Really well timed.
Yeah, 13 plays 9. Raiders, one last chance to score quickly here, and they'll be looking.
Great front space offered by Denellen again.
Oh, and Denellen had all that space there. Eventually able to pull it in. Make no mistake. So a couple of late quick goals there from the Raiders.
A fast centre pass here to see if they can control the possession back into the second quarter. Some really clever 1-2s from Lloyd to Irvine. And they found themselves under the post against the odds.
Monica with great hands.
And a late goal from Harbright. Did not think they'd have time for that. Some
no.
Really good possessions.
There's the time clock. So we've got 10 plays 14 here. First quarter action. Brought to you by O&M Live. On O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
That's still there?
It's a little low buzz. It's not as bad as it was when the commentary was on.
Yeah, I sent it a photo.
10. Just use these 3.
Okay, leave that one.
Yeah, leave that one. Player of the day. Good morning.
Okay.
I've got a roll.
On the headset. Yep.
On that headset.
Just move it out the side.
Yeah. I'll leave it up there so you can pick up as much as you want.
Oh,
If you need anything, give me a call. Sounds great.
who's taking this?
Buckets.
Reese here, I'll get it on.
Headset on.
Take the roving mic with you, mate. Go and sit up and score with him.
Yeah.
And it just does everything else. It wouldn't take an extra mark. That's what the problem is. It's only this week,
One of our microphones is humming badly. Sky said. Yeah, tell your tech team. Okay.
I didn't want to spend $1 million bucks.
There's no commercial breaks or stoppages in broadcasting.
I got it
all the way through.
I was going to get it from Netball one at a time too. I got it from Foots. I ended up getting it from Jay. I ordered it from this place in Sydney. Weeks went by and they're like, I ended up getting it from Jay.
Yeah, I think they're
I got the tripod
But I'll bring her out.
Yeah, I got a spare battery and a charger. So I was worried about that. And this is
Start back at 3:30.
Yeah, just let me know.
So,
That was it. I could have got that from them around the end. I got it offline. They sent it.
right, you ready? So we're back here, second quarter action. Panthers trailing the Raiders 10 goals to 15. Mastronardi into the shooting position.
Yeah, this is newsworthy. I've always said that the keepers make the best shooters. She's bringing her brains down to that position. But I guess that's a curious move. They'd be limited into when they can bring Olivia Sanson on,
Yes.
having played a couple of quarters in B grade earlier. But we've got Adams back on into keeper at the other end of the court with Taylor Ferber again. But we can already see Kate Mastronardi held really well there as a shooter. She knows how to use space. So I'll be curious to see how this goes, working with Monica Tomowski.
While for the Raiders, just the one change. St John and Blaney House swapping that centre wing attack position as Raiders score another one. They move to 17, leading the Panthers 10 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
I think they fixed all of those tech issues from the first quarter. It's a shame we used all of our best material then.
Yes,
So we're going to hear it.
plenty more game left, Al.
And another great
Delight them
at
with-
the post there by Mastronardi. There is no way she has not played that position.
No,
before.
that's
The whole
right.
back. She knew how to make that post. She created all of the space she needed.
So, good drive by House, finding some
Front space
space.
there for Denellen, but just left a bit too hesitant on the feed. If it had come in earlier, we might not have had a chance to get an arm to it. And I like the way Taylor's offering the drive there, but wasn't used, but she finished it right off to make sure she cleared it out for somebody else.
Oh, and
Massive
Stuart with
hang
the
time on
hands.
Stuart.
She's dangerous. She often gets tips to some balls
And
through that
underestimated,
mid-court.
I think,
Yep.
through the mid-court.
She's so athletic and provides great speed. But likewise, Demonial gets a tip for the Panthers and they look to go forward. So Ferbra finds
Lloyd with a
Demowski
giant
coming
drive all
forward.
the way down to that pocket
Yep.
and then back to the top of the
But
circle.
that finishing off allowed her to come back to top. She created great space there. Oh, and Mooney gets a tip. Demovsky goes chasing but not able to pull it in. So Raiders with the opportunity to take it back down, and These girls would not want to be doing too many laps in this court today.
Reset down there to Moody and House to give St John enough time to be able to offer out in that side corridor. Once again, lots of smaller, short, composed games here, just waiting for the feed, nothing rushed. Adams really owning that front position on Denellen and trying to prevent her from having the back space. I noticed that she's not letting her own the top half of the circle like she did in the first quarter by limiting her target space to the baseline.
Yeah, and if they can get her tight on that post, it just forces Raiders to absolutely pinpoint with those passes and
no margin for error.
Trying to create some balls out the back
Watching
line.
Something clever here from Stewart. The baseline throw-in is always the opportunity, and it's the scoop around the front.
Return and shoots.
Shot
When Em does that, when she just turns and shoots and backs herself, she can be deadly. Love to see her playing like that as Irvine backing up, finds Ferber on the line, Lloyd coming through with a great drive. Mastronati out, a nice quick feed, and you're right, Al, she has most certainly played in that position before. Looks, ball high and a beautiful goal.
Beautiful shot.
Takes them
But she's also
to 12.
using her pivot really smartly. Like, she's offering different angles, but her feet haven't actually moved from the same spot, the same real estate. Little dodge from St John down to the pocket. Has drawn the eyes of Irvine away and created that central feed there into Denellen without the barrier.
So Panthers,
Lloyd taking her double up player out wide to create space for Dubovsky. But it gave no more options down that side, and that's the risky run by dragging her so far wide. There was nobody else to offload to.
Stewart out, looking for someone,
All of the
goes to
players
Mackenzie
around
House
the
in the
ball,
line
one
and
little pocket.
a tip there.
Denellen out high this time to change things up. She rolls it back. And DeManuel gets a hand on it, I think, there. Awkward throw-in space here. We'll see how the split goes. Great turn and a beautiful hang time from Ferber. And she's 1-2 with DeManuel down to the other side of the corridor. DeManuel, always an option as a good centre should be, but doesn't need to be. And Mastronati clears out to re-offer under the post. They're working it smartly so that the feed comes to the circle, but it was too short for Eliza Mooney. You're going to need a lot more target space to be able to get over her arms.
Absolutely. She's playing VNL as well. She's in, I think, a training partner with Northeast Blaze, the 19s team, but they play on a Friday night, so she's going to be limited in when she can play with them, but still a great opportunity to be down there playing when she can and training with some fantastic netballers. And again, off to Nationals in a couple of weeks, Mia Lavis in the Victorian 19 and under side, so great to see her get that recognition and the opportunity.
No matter which club you're from, you get a little bit of a sense of pride when you see players like that come through with such great attitudes, and you've seen them grow up and play so well together.
So Raiders with the centre, they've got a 6-goal lead here, 19 plays 13 on the X-ray group scoreboard. I just feel like the pace has gone out a little bit as players start to feel the effects of the weather, but still some great contests as Irvine goes up and just gets caught offside. So Stewart will take the ball for Raiders at the top, looking for the quick 1-2. House draws the penalty. Movements on in the goal circle, and again,
Very cheeky play by Denellen there. I think she was trying to draw an offside, but in the meantime she snuck back into the legal territory and got her hands to it. And then we're watching a mix.
And Demosky tries everything she can to keep that in, but it'll be a turnover the Raiders' way. Mooney, great give and go to House, looks back to House, back to Mooney.
Smart play there.
Blaney House driving
Patience.
through, St John through that middle channel. They're really finding some good space when they come up through that middle channel, as I can see House, Jodie, that is, over there, talking to someone on the sideline. I think we're going to see a rolling sub here. So Georgia Way will enter the court for the Raiders into centre. B-grade player, played in the premiership with them last year. Daughter of Carly. Carly, give her a shout out.
How's the timing? Get into that backspace again by Mastronati.
Beautiful.
This is the revelation for me at the moment.
Lavington moved to 14. Trailing grade is 20 here on the X-ray group scoreboard. We've gone
John doing a lot of work off the ball there.
Yeah, we've nearly got 8 minutes here on the NZ clock. So Adams taking the ball for the Panthers.
Irvine with the front
Goes to
screen,
Irvine, but
just a little bit wide, and I think that's been forced by the great arms there. Taylor Donnellan had a really disciplined 3 foot there, and went with the left arm wide.
and another rolling sub the way of Panthers. So Olivia Sanson enters the court and goal attack for Monica Domovsky. First time we've seen Liv. She did have some court time in B grade, so they'll have to manage her quarters, but good to see Liv back.
Lots of footwork there from Adams to try and force an angle. It was always going to be very difficult to defend that little pot pass over top.
And Sanson hot off the line, great lead. Lloyd quick 1-2, and then straight into Mastronati. And I think, and Mooney just getting caught on the body there, probably almost be worth her while just sitting off and trying to confuse the space because she's got long arms to try and get over.
I actually like comparing the two because senior playing styles of both Emily Stewart and Olivia Sanson at either end of the court, but they like to play those long sweeping lines to try and create the space for their shooters, seeing a great little screen and roll there from Stewart to create the front space. Lloyd finds herself at the top of the circle, third feeder from Sanson. Mastronati's going for the long bomb, and it was a good shot. It caught the back of the ring and rebounded straight back to her, but Raiders have come up with the ball down the side channel.
House, Georgia Way into the action early, and a great ball to Donnellan. Beautiful feed there by the youngster, and
There was
Donnellan
no
makes
room
no
for error
mistake.
there. Donnellan had to take that on the baseline.
23 plays 15. We've gone nearly 10 minutes on the NZ Albury time clock as, the ball rockets into Donnellan. She can't pull that one in.
She's done well not to headbutt there. Well done.
Irvine into the space of February. No one else would have got to that ball.
It's the longest arms in Australia. There's not a chance anyone else caught that. And the long bomb again onto the baseline.
Great
Handled
footwork
well
by Mastronati. Yeah. Able to keep that in. Twinkle shows in the line and finishes
She's
off
nice
nice.
centre next. Very impressed with the flexibility and versatility of Mastronati here. Lloyd trying to urge it straight under the post. She's looking for that fast long feed from high at the transverse in the goal third. Uncharacteristically short shot from Sanson there. She's given herself a bit of a giggle. Goldsworthy running the sideline really efficiently.
Laney House, the nice twist turn there, find the front space and fires off past to Donnellan on the baseline.
For me, I'm just watching this clever work by Maddie St John. Every time she's running her opposition centre deliberately to see if she can pull the 3 feet of Taylor Ferber off the feeder, or she can run her own centre into the interference of the legal pass elsewhere. She's very clever the way she's manipulating her defender.
Yeah, I think it's just, she's really worked on her ability to sit back and have that court awareness of what's happening around her. As we see, Emmanuel finds Ferber on the move. Panthers with the opportunity to get a turnover back here.
And it's a treat to watch every possession that Maddie Lloyd gets that's anywhere south of the centre circle. Her first thing she does is eyes go to the post.
Yes.
And that's what you want in a confident feeder. She can put them on a dime. If she's got it anywhere, you cannot get complacent as a keeper because it could be coming in from a long way out.
Well, and I think she needs to get that wing defence over her, back off her body 3 feet, and that allows her to give and go as well. As we see for Raiders, another rolling sub, Ava Kazitsky into the wing defence position, replacing Molly Goldsworthy
with Harbright.
Yes, another rolling subs going on left, right and centre here.
I think it's pretty hot.
Yeah, Ava Kazitsky is a young player, was in the 17s premiership side last year for Raiders, gone up to B grade, a beautiful player, fantastic kid as well. So nice to see her get her opportunity. As we see St John, ball at the top of the circle, just a bit too much pepper on that for Dolan to pull in over the back line. So Adams will take the ball.
Ferber knew she had to commit to going up high because she did not have enough time to get back to the baseline.
And we see Timmy Richardson enter the game here at wing defence for Lavington. Into some confusion there, but Mackenzie, no, it was on Ava Kazitsky over the other side.
Again, watching Liv Sanson, the way she finds the body and rolls around, it's very similar to the way that Emily Stewart's playing at the other end of the court. She knows to go, she's not afraid to go and find the opposition and then roll to create a screen for herself.
That's right, and I think last year playing with Christine, you know, that was such an important role that she played, that ability to come out, open up that
with a great
space.
target space there. Perfect timing, didn't drop back into it too early. And for the first time we can see, I think Goldsworthy's just come back into keeper. She might have been there the whole quarter and I'm just...
No, she's just rolled on after she went up from wing defence. So Coach House over there swinging some changes.
Man down, Harbright's back up.
The keeper's out. So eventually a goal is scored. Lavington go to 18, trailing the Raiders 25 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard. We've probably got a minute and a half to go in this quarter.
It's going to be interesting to watch the error rate here as the fatigue really sets in. This is a very hot sun these ladies are playing under. And who can maintain their composure and their good decision making?
And the smart use of the bench, isn't it? Being able to get players on and off efficiently, give them that downtime and get ready to go again.
Mastronati now at the other end of the court, keeper.
She won't know where she is. She'll be lost. Richardson, great job by Lloyd up the middle of the court. She's caught high. She's going to have some work to do to get back there, but I'm sure she will.
Ball down into that pocket.
Good strong hold by Sanson. Clean take of the ball and finishes off beautifully.
Rarely can see her miss from that range. Excellent footwork by the umpire there.
Lloyd, quick release to Sanson.
It may have been back there into Harbright. But smart play by Goldsworthy again. She's a very clever defender. Uses the spaces available to her.
And there's the hooter for the end of the second quarter. We've got the Wodonga Raiders leading the Lavington Panthers here. 25 plays 19. It's half time on what is an absolute scorcher. This is Ovens and Murray Netball, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Yep, what do you need me to do? Can you? Yep, here I am. Can you hear this? Testing to see. I can't hear anything. Like a dental exam. What can you see? There's not a camera on there too, is there? Is that better? Does that sound okay? All right.
And welcome back to Ovens and Murray Live Netball here at Burleigh Park. Raiders taking on the Lavington Panthers. Grand final rematch. We've got a 25 plays, 19 goal game. Raiders with the upper hand at this stage in what is an absolute scorcher of a day. It's been a really sort of steady game. There hasn't been too many, I guess, loose balls, both sides, I think. Trying to play smart given the conditions.
Look, and it's no surprise, even though we've got a lot of fresh faces in this Lavington side, there's a reason that these guys were both the grand finalists last year. For me, one of the highlights of that first half was watching the composure of Maddie Lloyd. She's a very experienced operator, and there's a reason that she's, the multiple Tony Wilson medalist. Love watching her on the court. I'm loving the precision and the skill from players like herself and Stewart. But the biggest news story, I just think, is that identity crisis or identity fantasy that the Lavington coaches in Linda Charlton is able to have with Mastronati.
Oh, and
What a
Tammy
dream.
Richardson. Yeah, absolutely. She's been outstanding, Kate Mastronati. She's certainly a competitor. As Tammy Richardson, the young girl who's new to the Panthers in wing attack, got the turnover there. So,
Unlucky by Goldsworthy, just that she just didn't quite get the height there needed to contest properly with Harbright, because Harbright did have a really strong front hold, and I'm stoked to see Erin Harbright entering A grade like this in such a competitive way. Big fan of Erin's, and I love the confidence that she's developed now as an older player.
And we see Mackenzie House there with a beautiful intercept, maintained her balance to get the ball back for Raiders. So over to Kaczynski. So Raiders have maintained the side they finished the quarter with. Donnellan in that front spot. Wasn't confident to turn and shoot, but we'll get another opportunity here. And 2 out. So
Mastronati
finishes off beautifully. So Raiders go to 25, leading Lavington Panthers 20.
And I think as a squad, one of the strengths of Raiders is just the way that they finish their drives. It's very hard to be able to take any turnovers. There's no freebies given.
And on a day like today, you have to do that. You have to work the defender. I mean, you're going to be working hard too, but make the defender work and finish those drives with you. As Donnellan doesn't get the goal, but the
Perhaps some
umpires.
execution issues off her thumb there, I think. She's given herself a gill because she knows that's probably about the only 2 that she'd miss in a row.
Able to finish off. We see Maddie Irvine for the Panthers going to centre. She finds Lloyd, goes back to line. A great given there by Maddie. She's having to create a lot of play here. Doing so, she is.
Maddie Irvine not afraid to execute the fast hands, awkward angle, and the smarts there from House to come out and threaten with a hedge at the top of the circle. The risk of leaving the player exposed under the post, but she knew that was a risk that had to be taken, otherwise it was a straight feed.
And look, we have to give a special shout out to a couple of our favourite listeners. Gerald in Sydney, Lynn in Wodonga. I think
Greenacre community represented all over the
they've
state.
been logged on waiting since about 8:30 this morning.
I think
Hi guys.
Gerald's ready to pay for a subscription service, so shout out to you, Dad.
But great to have our listeners who are watching and tuning into O&M Live. Hopefully you'll be enjoying the game as much as we are, and there'll be some fantastic netball to come this season, I'm sure. So get on board as we see Donnellan find Stewart, and a sneaky pass back to Donnellan. And Mastronati made it work for that, but she pulled it in and made no mistake. With Raiders going to 27, leading the Panthers 21 here on the 777 Automotive scoreboard. Third quarter action brought to you by McRae Motors as Lloyd straight to Erin Harbright. And I guess the challenge there is last year that would have been going to a Christine who's a little bit taller and possibly pull that in, and it's just going to take Erin time to find her feet and that space, and also those players to understand where to put the ball for her.
And even just, we can't discount the difficulty in changing the way that skill's executed by the feeders. Where you're releasing the ball from to a target like Christina Boucher, as opposed to also another relatively tall target. Like, Erin's the tallest person in any other room. But compared to Christine, the feed is just a completely different skill to execute there. And so, of course, it's going to take a little bit of time to perfect that with consistency for the Lavington feeders. Whereas Raiders have the luxury of being able to continue. And we just see that
Donnellan's on the ground, and she's grabbed the ankle. It did look a bit of a nasty one.
She's looking very uncomfortable.
So time will be called here. Don looks like she's rolled the ankle. She stood on the foot of the defender.
Not nice to see for anybody.
No. So a change will be made, not through the rolling sub, but through an actual injury time. Expecting to see a lot less injury times this year, Al. I think there'll be a lot less asthma going around, not as many finger injuries as We see the rolling stuff has been used.
Some mental health calls as well.
Yes.
Sometimes that I used to have to make myself.
So disappointing to see. Donlan was playing well, but they lose
Partially
nothing
weight bearing
here.
on the way out, which is a good sign,
Yep.
although she does look like she's in some pain. So
Yeah, she
hopefully we
does.
get the ice onto that. And fingers crossed that that's the best possible outcome and just a bit of a stinger for her.
Yeah, so Mooney into the game, into goal shooters. Lloyd, some quick hands, great give and go there with Domovsky.
And it looks like Lloyd's hoping that there might be some momentum lost there in the Raiders the way she got out of the blocks.
Yes, she did, didn't she?
Experienced operator.
She bolted. Harbright finds it under the post. Makes no mistake that time. So Lavington moved to 22.
Irvine looking to double up on House through the centre channel, allowing Stewart to be forced out by Ferber wide. Forced the error, but it's definitely a Raiders throw in. Working to centre it through the centre channel once again, which has been a real strength of this mid-court outfit for the Raiders today. And again, speaking of identity crisis, we've now got the keeper from the other team. Eliza Moody has now moved into shooter, and again, what a luxury to have. I think these two were playing on each other at the other end of the court at one point of the game.
Yes, they were. And Erin Harbright with a really strong,
Lovely
great take.
target. Falling short a little bit and just put the timing of the rebound off while the ball sat up at the top of the ring there, making it hard for everyone. And then overloading this left-hand channel. A nice 1-2 from Goldsworthy, and in fact a 1-2-3-4.
Yes, they were going on with it as House finds Kaczynski coming down, strong drive. St John's begging for it all by herself there.
Admin table.
Just the timing of the Raiders on these drives
Mooney
is
dragging
impressive to
Mastronardi
watch.
right out of the circle to create the space in the post when she re-enters. And available again, but Mastronardi very cleverly not coming onto the body and not wanting to give away the limits so that the feeder couldn't quite see where the ball had to be put. So when it was expectedly put just a little bit short, she snuck back there to take the intercept, and it's ended up with some great connections down to Domovsky in her perfect range. She loves shooting from there.
Absolutely.
I think any closer than that would make her uncomfortable.
Yeah, good connections, and through Irvine onto the top of the circle there. Stewart out for the Raiders. House.
Once again, eyes from Stewart straight to the post, but Taylor Ferber's arms cutting off any vision and not being able to suck Stewart into a long feed. St John right out high at the transverse line. Switch.
And defenders just dropping back to cover
Stewart
Mooney
looking to
there.
try and drag Ferber off the front space of Mooney, but
House patient with the feed, waiting for that space to open up to Mooney as she
yeah,
makes no
because Ferber
mistake.
wasn't falling for any of that.
No.
She knew what they were trying.
29 plays 23 here in the third quarter. It's Panthers with the centre, looking to try
And Kaczynski with a really well-timed clean intercept through that middle channel. Mooney smartly coming out to allow her feeders time to come down and have a nice and calm feed, but they've missed Mooney, who was available.
and Stewart with the layup out the back.
Their athleticism is just
Unbelievable.
fun to watch.
Could be play of the day. McRae Motors play of the
Definitely a
day.
fadeaway shot. And forcing the Raiders to go back to their rear transverse because we've got hands everywhere from Lavington, and they're crowding out to create a bit of chaos at that transverse line. Bit of confusion, still forcing them out. They're looking for high feeds, but they're not forcing the ball in, which I really like the experience there. They are under pressure from the Lavington defenders, but they eventually work it in with some refeeds and a lovely shot from Mooney.
And I think what you see there is that a patience and the faith that the Raiders girls have in each other. They don't get flustered when it gets to 2.5 seconds. They know someone's going to come, and eventually they do, as we see Panthers working at circle edge. Irvine's been good since she's been on, finding top. Harbright looking for the refeed. She's not going to be able to stand still. These defenders will find their way around her. And the high ball under the post finds Harbright eventually. She makes no mistake. Panthers just not able to close this gap. They're trying everything. 24 plays 31. They've been able to get to within a few, and then it gets extended. Let's see what happens here in the back half of this quarter. We've got about 6 minutes to go here on the NZ Albury time clock.
Look, and Stewart not afraid to go in and find the body of Ferber to try and create as much of that space in front as possible.
And I think then you know where she is. I don't think you want to not know where Taylor Ferber is. That's dangerous territory as Mooney finishes off beautifully.
And it's smart play by House there on her feed. It takes good decision making to know when to put the feed at the chest and try to suck long arms of a defender around the body and when to put it out to the open space elsewhere.
Lloyd pleading with someone to come forward, had to reset to the line, but Richardson quick onto that, which was fantastic to see.
And a really well-placed lob onto the circle, which she shouldn't be taking that risk too early, but she executed that perfectly.
And House in the front position there, that was, I think that was an unlucky call. I thought she was front position to get that ball, but Domovsky ends up with it under the post. Should make no mistake and doesn't. And it looks like we've got Liv Sanson getting ready to roll onto the court. Overload set up here.
Allowing for that left hand in the free space out the other corridor for House to come through. And then we've got the split lead from Stewart and House Jr.
So John just drawing that obstruction call again.
Every time she knows how to manipulate her defender.
Yeah. And I think because she's so explosive on the give and go, they want to get there and get hands over and try and stop that. But
Domovsky going wide to drag House out of that defensive contest to allow space for Lloyd. Harbright driving through the middle and creating a very clever bounce pass for a better angle and a lovely baseline corridor drive there for Domovsky as a result of the side switch. Players starting to look a little bit tired, and that's why it's no surprise we can see Liv Sanson ready to come back on. Stewart does not look tired. I think she looks like she's just come on.
Yeah, she can run all day. And off the back of her overseas holiday earlier in the year, I believe,
That'd
bit of a late start to the season.
She's rejuvenated. And once again, the shot had to go in there because Mastronardi had the front real estate for that rebound.
Sanson into the game. We've got a 34 plays 26 here on the 777 automated scoreboard. We're into the last 5 minutes of this quarter.
And we have Adams back onto the game, out into the centre third for Ferber this time.
And Harbright, great position in the front of her defender there.
And she's looking more and more comfortable as the game goes on, Erin, with her holding, and it's always been a strength. And I think she knows just because you're tall, it's a trap to fall into that back space each time.
Oh, great vision
And
there by
likewise
Blaney
there.
House. Finds
Could have
M.
said the same
Stewart.
thing about Mooney. Beautiful front hold.
Stewart left all alone. She's deadly if she's given that space. So John, House off the line. Mooney coming out. Great give and go back to St John.
Stewart keeping Adams busy out that other side to allow the others to work the ball to the circle edge.
Good to see Mooney getting on the move with Mastronardi. I think Mastronardi's so strong in that holding position and on the body.
And like Harbright, it would be a trap to just stand still and rely on your height.
Yeah, hot day, get them moving, get them working.
And that's something both of these sides would have focused on in their pre-season.
Sanson,
Finishing a drive there from Sanson really cleverly.
great
Didn't get
ball work.
complacent.
Yep, finds Harbright.
A little bit early on the jump there from Goldsworthy. Probably attempting to try and force an error from Harbright, and it might make her think twice next time. So not necessarily an error by Goldsworthy. It's just going to change the way she goes about the next shot.
Fun
Lovely.
fact for you, Al, this Raiders side have 3 girls who will be competing at the national level in the next 3 weeks. We've got Mia Lavis and Eliza Mooney obviously going to nationals for netball in 2 weeks' time, representing Victoria under-19 side, and Mackenzie House
Of course, for
competing at
swimming.
the National Swimming Championships Open Age on the Gold Coast in, I think, the week after the girls have their netball. So a busy time ahead for some of these players off the court.
And House in really good nick, ready for those nationals. Just seeing the timing and the hang time she got there to reject that shot. She was unlucky to come away with a penalty there.
Yeah,
But
beautiful
again,
swimmer.
even though it resulted in a goal, it's going to make those shooters think twice on their next shot. And
Angela Manuel into the game, and somehow St John got that ball past her.
lovely shot by Moody. And I think that's sometimes you need to play the long game. These defenders are smart, and I think that's what House and Goldsworthy are doing at the moment. They're not necessarily looking to get a turnover on this one particular one. They're trying to play the mental game with the player for the next shot.
And look, Jodie House will be very big on getting the process right, doing the basics, stick to the plan, and the results will start to look after themselves as you see Harbright put another one on the scoreboard for the Panthers. They move to 29,
See Demamiel's on
trailing the
board again
Raiders
now.
38.
Really smart dummy feed first before she put it to the open side. She knew that Goldsworthy was going to have her hand around on that ball. Mooney not afraid to find the body, and she's actually put a screen on 2 separate bodies there to allow space for Stewart to be uncontested. But I think Em's probably, the shot was too easy for her. That's why it's gone out the back. She wasn't used to having no hands over the ball. Mastronardi with the penalty under the post, looking for the turnover in transition. Smart timing by DeMamiel, and the 1-2 for Adams down the sideline. Again, a 1-2 for Lloyd, and she runs the decoy down to the pocket.
Nice drive by Richardson there.
And I think Liv just had her hips at slightly the wrong angle there for the feed. She just
turned
needed
away
to
from
come
it,
around a
wasn't she?
little bit further.
Stewart
Once
through that
again,
middle.
Raiders aiming for that centre channel. They seem to be aiming to centre it each time.
Once they get wide, this looks like the goalies get it back through
Let's
that
get
centre.
it back through the centre channel. Maggie St John out wide again. Blaney House takes her defender right down into that pocket to try and open up a clear feed for Stewart.
Oh,
but in
great
fact,
vision.
she's running the decoy that even I sucked in for.
Yes.
Straight into Mooney's chest, who had the front hold.
And we see Georgia Way back onto the court into centre for Maggie St John. So only probably a minute to go in this quarter, and they've made a late change and a good strong take by Harbright. That'll be rewarded. She was in the front position. Confident long ball came into her. Sanson will take the shot.
Poor old Mastronardi and Mooney. I think a lot of their fatigue is going to come from running back and forth to the sideline down to the other end of the court. They're doing more running than a centre's supposed to. And if Liv's smart, she'll walk this back in. Oh, look at me
Absolutely.
just dusting some of this off my hands and off the ball.
And that was
A little bit
Lloyd.
more of a delay.
Oh, no, the umpire's going to hold time.
The umpire's having none of it. She's too smart. I would never have played any tricks like that.
No. You wouldn't have chased the ball either, though, if it wasn't
Good
yours.
point. That's a young mug's game.
And that's time, three-quarter time here at Burleigh Park. 39, we see the Raiders leading the Panthers 29. This is Ovens and Murray Netball, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing. Welcome back to Ovens and Murray Netball. Heading into the fourth quarter here at Burleigh Park, game between the Raiders and the Lavington Panthers. We've got the Raiders 10-goal lead, 39-29. It's an absolute scorcher. We're going to see who is able to run out this game.
It'll be interesting to see the impact on the error rate as we get towards the end of this quarter, especially now that we've got maths coming into the game in terms of who's played how many quarters across the grades throughout the day and what limitations people have got on them. And they can have all the rolling subs they like, but if they're not allowed to put a player back out there...
that limits them, doesn't it? We see Donnellan back into the game, back into shooters, so great
news.
Good to see it wasn't a serious injury. You don't want to see that on anyone.
Come down like that.
Especially round one. So that's allowed them to put Mooney back to keeper.
And smart footwork there by Mooney coming on and
hands.
off the body to try and force that confusion from the feeder. And again, that crouching position so that the feeder can't see the limit. And so it just tempted them into a slightly shorter feed. And she came away with those long arms. You see the windmill around there from Taylor Donnellan. She's not ready for the feed. She's shaking her head, but now she wants it with a really clear target.
Space, but just a bit more on it.
Definitely moving a little bit slower and a bit more cautiously on that angle, but she knew how to find the body and present with the front space, allowing Stewart to work it back with a refeed and an uncharacteristic overshot. Bit too much pepper on it. Watching Irvine set up close on the ball side here. Both she and Taylor Furborough are offering the same space when they're presenting. Lots of pressure down in that tight pocket, which I'd be doing as well, sending my players down there. If they're going to have the ball down low, you want to limit them so they can't see any other options no matter where they're splitting to. Little dodge by Furborough allowed Irvine to be seen nice and free through the centre channel. Connections by DeMamiel. Boyd a little bit early, but it didn't matter because she was unmarked. And the fast feed in from DeMamiel into Harbright caught Mooney with her eyes down momentarily, which again is not like her at all.
Just rolled out. Went round and round.
The rebound strength. How's the skill there to be able to pull that into her chest?
Good to see Harbright smiling. She's enjoying it, which is obviously very important. Mooney to House to Stewart, and Blaney's driving up the middle. Has to go back to the line.
And look, I think that's why Harbright is going to be so valuable to Lavington this year, is because even when the errors like that happen, you can't come back next week or fix those things at training unless you are enjoying yourself.
That's right. And what's done is done. You beat yourself up over it.
The girl that's chasing the ball wants it just as badly as you do, and so someone's gonna come off second best.
To DeManuel,
Mooney very
that
skilled
play.
there not to get sucked into the low presentation of Harbright there. She knew how to handle that, and the screen there from Domowski has allowed Harbright to be momentarily free on the opposite side of the post, but she's popped up an air ball because she balked from that shot with Mooney.
And I think Mooney's long arms would be off-putting. You know, you're not sure if she's going to jump for that ball as Stewart. They hit
Raiders lucky to
circle
get
edge.
caught still there without a contest for a couple of those passes. St. John protecting.
Oh, the hands of Fairbrun nearly created havoc, but went to the Raiders player as Donnellan not able to put it away.
Bit of a volleyball contest there between Donnellan and Ferber.
Yeah.
And almost a bit of a chess game around the top edge of the circle between DeMamiel and St. John. The way that they're each trying to protect that curved space to give a better target.
Obstruction on court, so Stewart with the opportunity under the post and makes no mistake. So Raiders move to 40, leading the Panthers 29.
A little bit late there to be able to get in to defend that shot. Harbright giving a really great drive and a lovely feed from Harbright out wide into Domowski. Great job. She didn't hesitate, and those kind of long bombs, they don't work if you do hesitate.
No. So error on the line. Panthers the opportunity. Irvine.
Great drive down to that
deep
pocket.
into that pocket, yes. Goldsworthy just on Lloyd's
Forced the
tail
error
there.
out into the sideline. Long bomb by Domowski. It was a straight shot, luckily, though, because it rebounded straight back in her direction and took the second one from that sweet spot of mid-range that Domowski really likes.
To Manuel into that space for Lloyd.
Domowski running a clever decoy out wide just to allow the eyes of the centre to follow her momentarily. Lovely long shot from Harbright there, despite the efforts of Mooney, who was throwing the kitchen sink at it to try and put her off.
Yes, she was. So Stewart is forced to go back. Kenzie House coming through.
Discipline from Demolski to make sure she stayed in the contest so she could at least block the view of the next pass.
And Molly Goldsworthy strong onto that ball.
And Lloyd just getting caught with the inside arm. So right out high at the transverse once again. Allowing the hedge from DeMamiel, but fast feed in from House. And Adams probably playing a good risk there because she knew that was a good contest to be involved in for a penalty right out high. Resulting in a goal there for Denellen.
41 plays 32 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard. Fourth quarter action brought to you by Martins Aubrey as Simowski just
a fumble there. She knew before she let go of that what was happening.
Oh, they're frustrating, aren't they?
And we can start to see some of these errors creeping in. And look, we just can't discount the impact of fatigue here.
No.
It's all well and good from the comfort and safety of this shade and the nice grass underneath us, but there's heat coming off that asphalt as well, and these girls are hot.
And I think you can be as fit as you like, but nothing prepares you for round one at the best of times, let alone when it's a scorcher like this. So these girls are better off for it, and they'll get the extra day's rest being Good Friday today. So St John.
It's going to be similar conditions at these teams, especially my tip is on Raiders to be playing deep into September, and it's going to be the same temperature. They'll be playing in the single digits in some conditions, but they'll be playing in this way. So it's good prep for them now to start practicing.
Oh,
what a tip there by House.
Yeah.
She came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I think, Al, we've got a hot one all weekend. So our teams that are playing tomorrow in Cora and Albury, and then our Sunday games, Yarrawonga, Wodonga, North Albury, Myrtleford, they're going to be hot ones.
Yeah, look,
who are your picks for those games?
Well, look, obviously, I'd
Albury
love to say Albury Tigers. Our girls have been hydrating all week, ready for that. But, you know, we've been controlling the things we can control, but we just don't know what Cora will have. Did you see the hands there from the sideline?
Great pick up, Al. I think that's worth of one vote.
Yeah, but look, we just don't know what Cora are up to. As I say, we were lucky enough to watch a couple of their quarters in the pre-season, and Sophie looks outstanding. Her leadership on court and the way the players respond to her, we're really aware of that, but I'm just looking forward to a great contest with them. Cora was my favourite ground to go and play at, and despite all of the hardship they've been through, not just administratively, but, you know, with their floods and the work that community's gone to get back up, I'm just really proud to be able to go back out there and be a part of it tomorrow. I love a contest. I've got so much respect for Corowa, but I've got heaps and heaps of faith and belief in our Albury girls, so I'd really like to come away with the win tomorrow.
And your Sunday games? Wodonga, Yarrawonga?
Yeah, look, it's really hard. How can you go past Yarra? A couple of changes there, but I think their brains throughout the whole club and the work their coaches will have done with them. My tip is with Yarra on Sunday.
Yep, I'm with you. I think Yarra Sunday, I think Albury tomorrow, and then Myrtleford North Albury is the other one on Sunday, down at Myrtleford, and I think this will be a cracker. These two, there's not much that separates them most times they play.
Not at all, and as I say, I'm excited for Em Brown and what she's building out there, but likewise, I know the community that Liv's working on out at Myrtleford as well, and having some great recruits. They've had really, really great development work last year. Lucky enough to have Sophie playing out with them, but it wasn't the Sophie show last year. Myrtleford themselves played with a great lot of depth. And,
a couple of good youngsters coming up too. Evie Hughes had a great season. She'll be better for that this year.
And as much as I think it'll be a great contest, I think Myrtleford will come away with the win there this early in the season. But not because North will be out of their depth.
No, it looks like we're on the same page there. And tonight, in the night game, is the Rovers and the Magpies down at Wang. Kim Borgia lining up for the Rovers. I believe Kelsey Wilson might be in this week. She's a great young player too, against a very experienced Wang side who haven't really changed. I don't think there's too much change to that side. So tips there.
Look, I think as exciting as it is having especially Kim Borgia playing there, I still think Magpies are going to come away with the win. They just have such incredible depth. And brains through their mid-court. Shay is an experienced operator, and I'm looking forward to the chess game she's going to be mentally preparing for her players. So my tip is Magpies.
Yeah, look, I agree. I think Wang will probably be composed in the situation.
Will be interesting to see if Rovers swing Kim Borgia down in a keeper in the same way that we've had Lavington and Raiders do today. That would probably be the surprise packet.
I think this is a new thing, isn't it? You can play shooting, you can play keeper. It might be a theme for the year. We'll see what who else tries it.
Well, we'll wait and see. Might change the way that Sky and I approach the game tomorrow with our shooter and keeper.
Oh, look, Katie Rawlings will have a shot, wouldn't she?
She wishes.
As we see Raiders finishing off the quarter here. Maggie St John, good give and go, finds Donald in that
Disciplined hands from
spot.
Demamiel, not letting St John step through there. She saw half an opening, but Demamiel knew what she was up to. Really disciplined 3 here from Furborough.
Makes no mistake. So Raiders go to 47, leaving the Panthers 34 here on the X-ray group scoreboard. We've got about 5 minutes to go on the NZ Albury clock.
Smart screen provided by Demolsky there for Lloyd to take open.
What a ball by Lloyd, finds
And again,
Mastronardi.
eyes straight to the post. It's Lloyd for me. Her feeds have just been so confident, and her leadership for Lavington is what's kept them in this competition, because she's brought the best out of the other players on the court.
Yeah, she
for
has.
their first hit out with such a different combination. And another goal down there. So trying that overload again to allow that free corridor for Irvine to come down wide. Mastronardi back into shooter, and she's allowed the little low space as she's crept and snuck back to the post there.
36 plays 48 here in the last 5 minutes of the quarter.
I think M. Stewart has really dictated the top of this circle, and seeing a beautiful bullet feed in from deep in the pocket from House into Denellen.
Panthers forced to go back, but Irvine, she's looking settled in this team, which is great for the Lavington Panthers as Demolsky.
Saved there by Lloyd.
Good back up to by
Looking
Monica.
fatigued here, everybody. This contest between the mid-quarters, between Maggie St John and Maddie Lloyd, has really interested me today. I thought they've really brought the best out in each other.
Well, it's a good day to be a zippy little fit mid-quarter, isn't it? You can utilise your speed. It might be hot, but it's dry, and I think they can really exploit their opposition with their speed. The overload there forced the offside from Lavington. So Mackenzie House
Lining
will
up
take the
with
ball.
that centre channel again here for the Raiders. I wonder if they're going to centre it before they use the sideline. Back to the sideline. Everybody's in the pocket.
So John and Stewart looking.
They've made lies out of us, Tam. They don't want the centre channel. Let's just keep how many possessions we can get right down deep into that pocket.
As we see a change here. So Irvine off for Panthers. Tamir Richardson into the wing defence position. Smart change while the ball is out of court.
Denellen knows that time's been called. There's no hurry to come back here. It's nice to see that she's still moving about a bit. I dare say she'll be hogging the ice at the end of the game for that ankle.
Now 50 plays 37 on the X-ray group scoreboard as Lloyd bursts off the line.
And
And
an
it's-
uncharacteristic ill-discipline there from St John. We've seen her hands over defence be a real hallmark of her game today. And House really committed to that one. She came all the way around in front and knew that she couldn't go half and half with that one. Almost have to have the big button out there for the first time from
but a
the Tam. I
great
can't
pass
believe
by
we haven't used it.
Demolsky. Yeah, Demolsky, smart pass. Finds Mastronardi and
What a
uncharacteristic
rebound
miss.
contest. Good timing from sister to sister there. She knew that House needed an offload.
Well, she
and it
looked
was
up and pleaded with her, didn't she, as Mackenzie House finds Blaney again.
Players
Sister,
looking
sister.
tired, but we are being patient and composed through the mid-court here, and they love that pocket again.
And great little finish off over the top to Donnellan.
And I think as the game's got late, we're seeing feeds coming from deep in the pocket more often from both teams, especially Raiders, whereas through those first 3 quarters, they were really loving
All top.
that 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock point of the circle, but now we're right out wide.
We're at 52, playing 37 here. It's blowing out.
Which
Raiders.
I think is probably speaking volumes of the work of the mid-court defenders.
Oh, Mooney.
Eyes straight to the post by Lloyd
Mooney
again.
came out for it. I think Demolsky faltered because she thought Eliza was going to get that, and it didn't, so it went out. So it still had the same effect. Raiders end up with the ball.
House recognising that Mooney was left undefended over the ball, so let's use the most of her. St John running that wide angle again, centred by Stewart. Back, Demaniel was right on the body there, and
Had
so
no
a
one,
little bit
Stewart.
complacent. And full commitment from House there again. She's taken all the way up to that line.
Just pressuring the young player in Richardson.
Putting a bit of pressure on Mooney and Goldsworthy with a 3-on-2 contest back in the centre third while House has to find her way back home.
Yeah, Mackenzie House.
House doing a huge workload here.
Yeah, I should be happy to get back in the pool after
then
a day like today.
Hedging there from Mooney to make sure she's got all of those bases covered. And we've got House has just got a bit of a niggle as well.
Might be a
She's
cramp,
gone
I
up
think.
and look, it's unsurprising because I think Gatorade sales here at Raiders are probably going to boost their bottom line for the day. There's a lot of electrolyte loss out there.
Look, nothing some hot chips wouldn't fix that, would it? Get a bit of salt into you.
I'll never know.
Load up the chips. As the ball goes over, finds Donovan out the back, and she'll look to finish it off, and she does. So Raiders
Really
finish the
looking
game,
uncomfortable there.
53 goals to 37 over the Raiders, over the Lavington Panthers, apologies. And we'll just head out and get our player of the day, sponsored by McRae Motors. So a fantastic game here. It's incredibly hot, as we've said. Good test of both teams, I think. Obviously, Lavington are a new look side, but great to see their new players come in and get the job done.
Yeah, I think we go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just hot, eh? Oh, thanks.
So our player of the day, Megan St. John from the Wodonga Raiders. Ray Motors player of the day. Well done, Meg.
Thank you.
You look like I'm going to give you some ice water.
Yeah, it's pretty hot out there.
And now we're expecting you to talk.
Right, yeah.
Great game, really composed, you guys. You look like you just played smart. Just timed those leads, tried to find some space and didn't try and force the ball. Just stop girls having to do that extra running. How did it feel?
Yeah, it was obviously so hot. First quarter we spoke about, trying to really keep that possession and holding on to it first without giving it off straight away, like letting an option present itself. And I think as the game went on, we got better.
Yeah. And utilised the rolling subs nicely. Jo obviously spoke to you about that. And it was probably nice to yourself just to be able to come up and have that couple of minute breather.
Yeah, she told me to have a little breather. She's like, have a little breather, and then this is what I want you to do.
Look, Maggie, the thing I was most impressed with you today was the way, especially when you guys were in attack, and the way you were manipulating the space of your defensive mid-quarter. Was that something you were conscious of? Was that a particular plan? You seemed to be running either Maddie Lloyd or Ange DeMamiel right past somebody else to try and force. What was your thinking there?
Defensively, just really trying to grind them down. Jodie's been working really hard on me with just trying to keep that one-on-one, grinding them really hard, and then hopefully a ball is forced eventually.
Yeah, we look at shows you're against probably arguably the best mid-quarter in the league there in Maddie Lloyd, and you had to bring the best out in her, and so that was a fantastic contest to watch.
Thank you.
A really good grind.
Must be lovely having an Eliza Mooney be able to come off the bench too and play either end. I guess it gives your side just a little bit more versatility.
Yeah, Liz is such an awesome talent. Being able to play both ends of the court. Her and me are coming up they're just so amazing. We're so lucky to have them. Yeah.
Well done. A fantastic game. Go and find an ice bath.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Please do. Congratulations on the win. You're off on the scoreboard.
Yes.
Round 1, you can tick it off and look forward to round 2.
Yeah, thanks guys. Happy Easter.
Thank
you. Thank you.
So there we have Maggie St. John, player of the day in the for the Raiders in what was a convincing win in the end, 53 to 37. Al, thanks for your time. We look forward to some more games over the Easter weekend. Good luck tomorrow. You guys head down the river to Corowa.
Super excited.
Great to see them back.
Shout out to my Albury Tigers girls
Yes.
and also to Corowa. Congratulations. We're really looking forward to playing you guys tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for listening. Round 1 done and dusted. This is Ovens and Murray Netball, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.